Hey guys, so today we are going to build upon what you've been doing with algebraic patterns and learn how to express them algebraically, so as a formula or an equation. So there are two common forms of linear equations. There's standard form and slope-intercept form. Standard form of a linear equation looks like ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are arbitrary numbers. And arbitrary just means like any number. They can be any real number. They can be, they are typically integers. And we typically see standard form used in systems of equations. Slope-intercept form is far more commonly used, especially when we are writing equations of lines. And that looks like y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope, which is sometimes referred to as the rate of change. And b represents the y-intercept. And when we talk about a y-intercept, that is the value of y when x equals 0. It's also where the line intersects the y-axis if you're thinking about it on a graph. So in a numerical table, the slope is equal to the change in y over the change in x. You don't have to worry about this so much with like these visual patterns that we're playing around with because your change in x is always 1. However, as you keep working with this, your change in x may not be 1, and so that division becomes really important. And then to find the y-intercept, you'll need to find the value of y when x equals 0. So now we have this little table of puppies, or not, it's not a table of puppies, it's a little graph of puppies. X here represents the stage number, and Y represents the number of puppies. So we're going to first thing we're going to do is create a table that represents the situation. This is going to be X, this is going to be Y. These tables typically start out with your first stage. So our stage number is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the first stage, there's 1 puppy. In the second stage, there's 3. In the third stage, there's 5. And in this fourth stage, there are 7 puppies. So then what we're going to do is write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent this scenario. So we want to figure out y equals mx plus b. Well, here we can see that our x values are changing by 1. And so in order to find our slope, we just need to figure out what are we adding or subtracting each time here. I can see my numbers are getting bigger, so I know that I'm adding 1. To go from 1 to 3, I'm going to add 2. To go from 3 to 5, I'm also going to add 2. To go from 5 to 7, I'm going to add 2. So my m is 2. Now, in order to find our b value, we actually need to figure out what's happening when x is 0. And so we know that if we're going forward here, that there's going to be an addition of 2. But we're actually trying to go backwards so we can figure out what's happening here. So instead of adding 2, we're going to subtract 2, and 1 minus 2 is -1. So b is -1. So our final equation here in slope-intercept form, y equals m is 2x plus b, which is -1, so 2x plus -1, or y equals 2x minus 1. That's just like a little bit of a cleaner way of writing it. And so what's really great when we have this formula is that we can really easily now find values of x and y. So this next question asks us how many puppies are there in the 58th stage? So remember that x is stage number. So this is asking us what's going on with y when x equals 58. So we're going to say y equals 2. Instead of x, we're going to plug in 58 minus 1. 2 times 58 is 116, minus 1 is 115. And then I'm going to include units just because for good measure. So 115 puppies. Then it says in some stage there are 21 puppies, and to find that stage. So 21 puppies here, that's saying, well, what's happening when y equals 21? So instead of And then we need to solve for x. We're going to say that 21 equals 2x minus 1. And from here, we're just going to solve this thing for x. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. Because we only have x values on the right-hand side of this equation, we don't want to move the x because that's just going to make our lives more challenging. So the x is going to stay right in place. 21 plus 1 is 22, is equal to 2x. We're going to divide both sides by 2 here. And x equals 11. So at stage 11, there are 21 puppies. All right, head on over and try out your independent practice. Let me know what questions you have, and have a great rest of your day.